Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
Yeah. There's no mercy in this world, just hunger-thirsty persons in different versions, each new update, that shit worsens. Why? Pull back the curtain and you'll see the different vermin. We all have different burdens that all seem to cause disturbance. Yo, so do me a favor, don't treat me like a neighbor. Don't need the different flavors of your problems just to savor. I've got my own issues, I need a comb to get through. Don't need to groan with you, just go get your own tissue.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody
Yo, what is good? What is good? Welcome to another episode of the Eagles Top Podcast. Our special guest should be arriving shortly, so bear with us on that. But, for those who are kind of new watching this show for the very first time, you know how it is. We discuss Eagles, post-game and stuff like that, kind of break all things down. But yeah, so for those who have seen the show before, you see some people have seen her on one of our episodes, so kind of give a breakdown of who she is. She is a huge Eagles fan. She's a two-time Emmy-winning reporter. Like this, like she's got a really good following on Instagram. So hopefully, she's going to be coming on here shortly and kind of talk some Eagles for about hour and a half or so. But Tyler, man, how you feeling?
It wasn't the fact that I was yelling that this team was playing terribly. I was yelling at them, okay, they're done. Okay, quit running up the store. Okay. Like, it was getting bad. Like, I'm like, okay, they're done. You can stop killing them now. Okay, they're done. Okay, they still scored. Okay.
It's crazy, though, man. It's just – but, like, I do have – because, good Lord, man, I'm looking at the box score for the four quarters. Good Lord. No one else, but we did our damage in the second. God damn, man. That is crazy.
The first quarter, okay. It was kind of okay-ish. Second quarter, the floodgates started opening for us offensively. And I'm like, okay. Third quarter, it's like 35 to whatever. I'm like, oh, my God. I'm like, all right, okay.
Oh, yeah.
It was bad, man. And then talk about Jalen Hurts proving the doubters wrong again, like he has countless times this entire season. 4 touchdowns.
But who
4
would have
touchdowns,
thought, man? Who
4
would have thought?
touchdown passes, man. And this rides, and this was the growing theme, and this was the growing theme of the entire season. Is Jalen Hurts going to improve his passing game? What's going to happen in that passing game throughout the entire season? Is Jalen Hurts going to throw the ball more than he did last year? And he has proven time and time again that he can do that.
Not just that, too. I mean, and you also think too, and not just that, because you also see, like, he also cleaned up his throwing mechanics. Just remember, like, the last couple of years, his arm was kind of like out far here. Now he's more like close and compact, and he's just throwing fucking dimes.
He's throwing dimes to AJ Brown like three times.
Hey, man, taking that terrible talent.
Yeah. So,
but it's just, I don't know. But looking at it closely, though, it's just this team overall, though. Like, I had this team going 12-5. If this team can go more than that,
this game proved to me that this team can be a Super Bowl contender. This game right here.
But before we get any further, for those who have seen her,
hey guys,
hey, what is good? Hey, welcome. It's been a while though.
It has been. How about them birds though, huh?
And we were just
like I was telling my buddy here. It was like, okay, stop. Okay, stop killing them now. Stop killing them.
I mean, it's just like the way that we saw this too. It's just like we actually finally did something in the second half, which is me and Tyler kind of talked about in the previous episodes. Was always the biggest question mark. Like, can we finish in the second half?
Right.
I mean, so far, I mean, we did put up 14 total points in the second half. So I mean, that'd be answer the question too. Even though Pittsburgh, yikes.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles just ran over Pittsburgh yesterday. There's kind of no other way to say it. And you're right. I mean, we do tend to not score as much in the second half, but obviously proved that theory wrong yesterday. So I'm looking forward to. I mean, I've been looking forward to football season all year, but now especially, I already booked my Super Bowl. A condo in Arizona, so I'm now.
And me and Tara kind of talked about this too. It's just like we knew that the second half was also a question mark. It's also the Jalen Hurts was always the biggest question mark as well, because we know this is a contract year for him. And then getting Robert Quinn, and the fact that Howie, what the fuck, man, the dude's a goddamn genius.
Yeah.
Like the fact that we're not paying not even less than $700,000 for a guy like Robert Quinn, it's like, who would have saw that coming? And who knows what other moves are awaiting at the trade deadline? Because we don't know that Roquan Smith already got moved to Baltimore.
Right. And I said that too. I was like, 2 years ago, Howie Roseman everyone was cursing his name.
Oh, yeah.
Worst GM in the league. And then, now all of a sudden, with this year's draft and one of my friends called it, Mike Desco, part of Atlanta-Delphia in Atlanta, Georgia. He was like, Howie's building. I see it. No one else saw it. Mike Desco saw it. And I looked at him and I was like, oh my God, you're right. And then we just watched it happen this off season. So I mean, with AJ Brown and now Robert Quinn. And I mean, I think there's some more surprises coming too. I mean, the trade deadline is what, tomorrow?
Tomorrow at 4:00.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we'll see maybe one more. I don't have an inside scoop on that, just a feeling. But I think we'll see some other movement.
I do have a feeling, like gut feeling wise, I feel like we're going to find a way to snag Kareem Hunt from Cleveland. I have a gut feeling we might might pull that off and finesse the living crap out of Cleveland. Even though you got a guy like Kareem Hunt, you can still get 3 good years out of him before running backs tend to break down. It's just like getting like Robert Quinn. And having Robert Quinn though, from what we saw though, I mean, it's really proved beneficial though. I mean. Yes, he's up on the older side of things. It's like
But that's
Now, my thing is,
experience too. I mean, Pro Bowl. I mean, that older doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Deshaun Jackson's still in the league, so I
shockingly,
mean, somehow, I mean, really good punt returner at least now. I mean, one of my favorite Eagles players ever. So I will never, I still have his jersey. But if Deshaun can do it, older doesn't matter anymore.
that is true. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like now the fact you're going to have a guy like Robert Quinn on the one part of the edge, and you got Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat. That man, offensive O lines are just really going to get beat, and we saw that too against Pittsburgh too. It's just like, and then we got Javon Hargrave too has come out of the woodworks and actually really had a really good start. I mean, the fact that he's right now in that game only led it with 2 sacks. I mean, It's just like this team though. Special teams, we have to get better on that. I mean, I would rather give Devin Allen a chance to special teams. Britton Covey ain't doing it for me. Not saying I hate Britton Covey, but just like he's a little bit slow, I would say.
Yeah, he's slow.
I don't think you can hate anybody on this particular team. Not right now.
I mean, it's really hard to because everybody.
It is. It's super hard to.
I mean, look, you had Miles Sanders had 9 carries for 78 yards on the touchdown. Jalen Hurts 19 of 28 for 285 yards, 4 touchdowns. AJ Brown was just completely crapping all over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Six catches for 156 yards, 3 touchdowns on 11 targets. So I mean,
this man all game was just burning Minka Fitzpatrick the entire game. It was awesome.
And it's funny too that Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, look, I think Minka Fitzpatrick is a good corner. It's just like he's just super overhyped. When the Pittsburgh Steelers made a trade for him, like that's where the kind of overhype kind of started, and just the fact that AJ Brown just exposed him. No, I mean it's just like, yes, I mean I get it that Pittsburgh's a rebuilding team, but it's just like not to this extent. It'll be this super bad. The first time they didn't have had a losing season was since 2003. God damn, it's really crazy enough. And speaking of a fellow Cowboys fan, too, Arku, yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, the fact that we give away
here's the thing. It's hard not to give the guy credit for what he did yesterday.
And shit, even Dallas Goedert actually had a pretty decent game.
I don't know what stat it was. I don't know if you guys can enlighten me on this, but he tied T.O. for a stat.
Did he?
Yeah, he tied T.O. I think for like receiving yards or something.
Okay.
I think it might have been receiving yards. God damn! And this is the thing too. This is why I think we've seen, even Tennessee's kind of struggling to find the wide receiver core. The fact we gave up an 18th overall pick and a 3rd round pick for AJ Brown, signed him to a 4-year extension. Like
I'm telling you, the best part about that was it was the day before my birthday that happened. I'm like, yes. So
especially on draft day, not to mention getting Jordan. I mean, you got AJ Brown, Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean, which is it's a shame that I'm actually. It's sad because I want to see this guy, be what he needs to be. But I mean, this team though. I mean, I had this team going 12-5 because I feel like it's like it's just still a stepping stone. But talk about overachieving, the way that we've seen it. I mean, shit. Me and Tyler talk about the Phillies overachieving. We see the Flyers now overachieving. Now we see take the Unions keep that off to the side, but we have three out of the 4 teams kind of overachieving at this point in 2022. Which who would have thought?
Don't forget about the Philadelphia Union too. They're in the
that's why I said the championship, man.
Yeah, they're coming to LA. I'm actually in Arizona this weekend, but I was hoping to see some friends. That's not going to happen. But they're in the championship in LA this weekend. So it's a great time to be a Philly sports fan.
It really is.
Honestly, Rob, I'm confused of how to feel right now because of all the success. I'm not used to it. So
well, yeah, because it's true. Because I mean, Philly sports at times has been very inconsistently. Two good teams are good. We had the one because we remember the Flyers are always minus last year. That's being very inconsistent. But that's besides the point. I mean, it's just like the way that we've seen this team kind of grow and kind of just develop. I mean, Jonathan Gannon, I'm still not letting it off the hook, not just yet.
All this man has to do is not let up off the gas in the second half.
That's my biggest key.
Doing that.
You have to stay aggressive all through.
You have so many pieces on that defensive side of the ball, and you're letting off the gas in the second half every time, dude. Come on.
And then again, though, if you took it minus that Detroit game, that really has. It's surprising that it never bit us in the ass in terms
No.
of. No, it's like we get constantly blowing out teams. Well, I mean, Dallas was kind of more competitive. I'll give Dallas for where credit is due. They actually got a good offense. And they really had a good defense too. I mean, it's just I feel like when it comes to a complete built roster, has been. I think we're like we're the top seed in the NFC. We're number 2 in the league and almost and like what I think we're like last time I checked. I think we're ranked top 10 we're I think top 5 in defense and like top 10 in offense. So we're in that high in that category.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like who would have thought that to become? And special teams were kind of on a bit of on the back burner a little bit, but
and
if we can still
in the league, I mean NFC East. You know, we went from NFC Least to NFC Beast. You know, so.
Like who would have thought we're actually better than the AFC West?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I saw the Cowboys being competitive with us. I did not see the Giants being competitive with us. But they've been hanging in there.
Absolutely not.
Oh my god.
Well, now
it's funny.
I mean, the Commanders are coming back now too. You know, now that Wentz is out.
Yeah, they're getting hot too.
They're getting it too. So we'll see. I mean, they're not going to beat the Eagles. There's no way in hell. But I'll be excited to see that game. But yeah, I mean, don't count them out now.
And guess what? Just like us, Rob. It took Carson Wentz going down for that to happen.
And it's funny too. Speaking of, I mean, I haven't talked to Commanders fans, and they're sick and tired of Wentz. It's like, what is going on today? I mean, like Phillies fans were done with him, Indy was done with him, now Washington's done with him. Like, god damn! It's like,
at this point, the guy needs to retire.
Just hang up the spikes because
hang it up.
It's like, look, I don't think Washington's like super terrible. They got potential to be a good competitive team in the NFC East. But where I stand with the Washington Commanders is the ownership. I think Ron Rivera at times has cost him a tremendous amount of games because I mean I like Antonio Gibson, Curtis Samuel has really come out of the woodworks.
Dotson,
Dotson, he's got to stay healthy.
Robinson is killing
it. Yeah, good shit. I mean, especially after that tragedy kind of happened to him.
Yeah, after he got shot. Yeah, I was shocked to see him back on the field.
And it's just
and doing really well too.
Yeah, I mean,
this man gets shot. He misses 4 games and he's balling out. I'm like, you just got shot like 4 weeks ago. What is going on?
And not to mention, too, I mean, my only issue is with the defense. So Chase Young's got to stay healthy because I really like that kid from Ohio State because it's just like they got it. Their defense for me it's the same with Pittsburgh though. Without a guy like a TJ Watt or a Chase Young, we've seen defenses those kind of type of defenses kind of struggle, but. Washington, on the other hand, they actually got some decent depth at on that D line though, but it's not as what we expected in 2020. Well, for Eagles fans, we want to keep that out of our minds because, good lord, but that's besides the point.
That was a dumpster fire.
Yeah,
inside of a dumpster fire that season. Oof.
But it's like, no, we got Hurts playing for a contract. Hell, even Miles Sanders is playing for a contract too. It's just like. Now, for me, I do want to keep Sanders around because, I mean, he's pretty much – I think he can at least get close to 1,000 yards by the end of the year. It's just like – I don't know, man. I just feel like Penn State players cannot stay healthy for some reason. Their strength and conditioning has not been the best. I mean, we saw with Saquon the last 3 years, but good Lord, I think he might have over 1,000 yards by it's all said and done. You know, I mean – and the Giants, too, kind of going to talk about the Giants a little bit. Like I said, I have family members who are Giants fans, even though I do poke fun at them because of that.
We all do.
Yeah, but like I never have had any hard feelings because I kind of put myself in their shoes because really a decade of losing technically Jersey, I would say, but not New York, but that's kind of my biggest nitpick. But it's just like if you're a Giants fan, like I could imagine like how annoying that really truly is. You've seen teams like us getting better. We know that Dallas is good, better than you, Giants. But I've never, and I'll give not just the Giants, but also the Jets. Who would have thought the Jets being like 5-3 in the AFC East? Like
Who knew?
One's like we've seen teams, not just in the NFC, but we've seen in the AFC, kind of like the change of the guard. We're seeing Tampa Bay kind of take. Oof. Well, that's because all the hype just kind of died. I would think after a few weeks because. Oh, man, it's like – it's a shame, though. I mean, you have all this talent and you still – like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's the coaching problem. I don't know what exactly what's going over there in Detroit, but it's like, I don't know. I think it's crazy though. But looking at the Eagles as a whole, it's crazy enough that people will say we might go undefeated. I don't see that happening. I feel like there's going to be a couple teams that might give us a run for our money. I think the one test is probably the Giants, because I think they're another team that's been really competitive in the NFC. Even though they dropped to the Seahawks, who now leads the NFC West, is shocking to say the least. To really to see that. I mean, looking at how seeing Kenny Gainwell kind of doing. I mean, the fact that we might even not see Quez Watkins be on this team at some point, because we're seeing Pascal kind of taking a lot more snaps than Watkins. We know that what Devontae Smith can do. The fact that AJ Brown too, I feel like having traded for AJ Brown has been that difference maker for us this year.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because we really had to see that, and like I said, we have not seen that since the days of TO, not in the early 2000s, which is crazy. It's crazy to believe of how many different wide receivers we have gone through and try to find that number one guy. Even Deshaun Jackson had his moments,
of course,
but it's just like he wasn't. Yeah, in the prime,
Deshaun Jackson, 35, so we can talk about him.
Yeah,
like that,
it's just like this team though. It's just like, I don't know. I think this team might go 15-2. The way, I think this team could go.
I said that last night, actually.
Like, it's like the way that they're going. It's just like if they either go 15-2 or shockingly if they go undefeated this season. It's like I'm telling, like, it's like this is ridiculous. It's like how much of 1 year could change. Now, not having Jordan Davis though in the next 4 to 6 weeks, it might not be a huge loss as people are making it out to be. But people have to realize too, and you're seeing these teams too nowadays not having depth in certain positions. Now, the fact we did bring in Robert Quinn has really helped a lot. And not trying to nitpick on Dallas, but Dallas is their depth is kind of very thin. But it's just like looking at. Because like nowadays, it's like we've seen teams that need depth. I mean, this is why, and like we said, I mean, the fact that we crucified Howard for the last 2 years, it's been oh boy. But I mean, the fact that he rectified his mistakes, letting go, finally getting rid of Rager, and definitely or get a Whiteside. I mean, it's just, and the fact that finally actually make the right moves. And who's to say, man? I mean, with the draft coming up and still owning the Saints could be moving up to third. Who knows? It's crazy enough that we still have a winning record, and we're going to have a top 5 first round pick that we own from the Saints. Getting that from that CJ Gardner Johnson trade, which I think we should definitely extend him, because there's some guys that are playing for extensions. I say give Slay another extension. I say give Bradbury definitely an extension too, which has been I think a huge upgrade over Steven Nelson. I mean, Nelson was okay, but he was not to the where now you have two guys like Slay and Bradbury going side by side.
I said Slay was going to have a breakout year, so I'm glad that I called that one.
I mean, you can definitely see it. I mean, Bradbury, man, it's been really living up to that 1 year deal. I mean, Hassan Reddick, granted a slow start, but he's really starting to become a bit of a pest on that defensive part of that edge rush. Where it's like, it's crazy not to see what Nick Sirianni can do. It's surprisingly that Nick Sirianni, even though at times some Eagles fans had his skepticism, but for me, it's just like, at looking at it at face value, though, I didn't really hate it, but I was kind of questioning it. But looking at this dude's mentality, it's just
also a new coach. Like, he had 1 year. I mean, he was first year coach. First year quarterback, like, people just didn't know. And I think they proved, it was just kind of the jury was out. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't know.
Yeah, I mean,
question. You can't tell a lot in 1 year. You know what I mean? And now we're seeing what both of them are made of.
And that too, and the way that Howie Roseman has kind of built and actually realizing that we have to build around Jalen Hurts, because this is and I even said this too, it's a make or break year for him, because if he does, and the fact he's reaching 10. He's got 10 touchdowns to 2 picks. I mean, the dude, it's like we're seeing a lot. Yeah. I mean, it's showing that he could lead this team to the. I mean, I'm not going to overstretch. I think he can definitely lead us to the playoffs, but to the Super Bowl, that remains to be seen for me in my eyes. I think it's a little bit still too early. I mean, we're more than halfway through the season at this point. Knowing we got, the Giants coming up, we got the Commanders. I know we're going to whip their ass in Philly. Got him. Carson Wentz didn't get hurt. I want him with Philly to give him a hometown welcome, which I don't think that's going to happen. Which
I don't
sucks.
think he's going to play. Like, yeah, I mean that's in 2 weeks, so I think he's still going to be on IR at that point.
Oh, that's
but I mean, I was like, damn it! It's like really. I mean, you had to get it hurt at the worst possible time, so you won't get your ass
dodged a
booted.
bullet, Mr. Wentz. You dodged a bullet.
Right. Well, no, and I think I said it on this podcast. I'm not even sure, but I said, I was like, there's no way Wentz is going to step field on that field at the link. There's no way. I'm like, Heineke's going to do it no matter what. I didn't know how I knew that feeling, but I was like, Wentz is not going to play that Philly game, that first one at the link. No,
it's like, it really is, man. It's just like this team, though. It's like I'm thinking to myself, and we even talked about this too, in a couple streams. It's like, is this even real at this point? The fact that we're 7-0 for the first time since 2004, and it's just like the fact we haven't been this kind of dominant since our first Super Bowl run in 2004, which is really nuts to really believe that. Knowing that now the Patriots are absolutely bad, for lack of a better term. I mean, it's just like this team has really showed, like, over like just a year and a half, like to build around your quarterback. Chicago Bears, you better take notes because good Lord, because you are really killing Justin Fields. And I feel bad for this kid. I feel bad for this kid.
I said it yesterday. I was like, I was a big fan of his, his college days. I was excited to see him play in the NFL, and the Bears is just not where he should be. They've ruined him.
Yeah, I mean, poor O-line. Not the fact you got rid of Roquan Smith at the same time. Oh boy, it's just like these teams are having a hard. It's like it's crazy, but I mean, it's looking at what this team is. It's like, we've seen teams don't actually know how to build around the quarterback. Even though I know it took us a while to really kind of get to understand where we stood, especially last year. I mean, yes, I mean. Could we done it better last year in the playoffs? Absolutely, but at the time we really didn't have that good personnel. So, I mean, looking at us as like, I mean, we were looking at it at face value. I know it was bad, but logically, I mean, I'm pretty sure how we had a plan in mind. It's like, where we have to build around and strengthen some areas. I mean, the fact that getting Jordan Davis, who I've been very highly on, even though he is, well, I don't want to say he's not our rival because he's in a different conference than our Clemson Tigers. But looking at when we have played Georgia a couple times, it's been that kid's got. I knew that kid's going to be a special talent in the NFL. But knowing that, it's funny. I actually had him going to the Raiders. But however, when the Raiders did pull the trigger for Devontae Adams, it's like, well, the second best option is probably us because we could do use we need somebody else to be the next Fletcher Cox. And there he is. I mean, it's really showing that these guys like Fletcher Cox. Though, I mean. Even at the age he's at, he's really showing, and we're seeing what Jordan Davis can do. It's like, I think he's just getting better under Fletcher Cox. I think, it's crazy enough to where we might see Brandon Graham go. We might see Kelsey. Well, we definitely know where Kelsey's might go at some point. And it's same with Fletcher Cox. And who knows with Lane Johnson at that point.
I'm going to cry. I will cry.
It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt like a bitch.
And Travis Kelsey retire. Woo! Yeah.
But it's just like, and I haven't said this too. I mean, look, if we do want to lose, nobody. It's hard to go undefeated in the NFL unless you're the 72 Dolphins, which the last team has done that. But it's just like, the Pack. Gee, I mean, I don't know, man. I think that if we ever want to get and lose it, I have a feeling we might even lose to the Giants. I have a gut feeling we might drop one to the Giants because I feel the Giants are good enough to where. If you make any, and we saw it in games too. I mean, look, Seattle. Yeah, I mean, yes, Seattle kind of exposed them, but I mean, with new everything going around. I mean, not having Anthony Kayvon Thibodeau as the NC's Angelari, and that really good defense too. I mean, if you make a mistake with the Giants, and we saw that, Baltimore. I hope you're watching because, good Lord, I put your ass on the grill 3 times, 3 goddamn times, and for good reason. Like, how do you choke 3 fourth quarter leads this year? Almost 4. Well, technically you did, actually, now that I think about it. It's like I don't get it. Baltimore is it's a conundrum. Their defense is such a conundrum at that point. But then again, I talked to Ravens fans. They said they do miss Martindale. You can definitely see it in their defensive play because Kyle Hamilton is struggling.
Mm-hmm.
Marlon Humphreys, though, I mean, he's still producing well, but not to what we expected the last couple of years. And we're seeing it. And the Giants' defense, though, well, I'll give the Giants where credit's due. Finally, actually cleaning house, actually get the right personnel. We know that Daniel Jones.
I think Daybell's done.
I mean, he's a quarterback saver. Shit. Yeah. I mean, damn. Like, and this way, kind of talked about. Like, if you look back the first 2 years of Josh Allen's career before Brian Daboll got there, I've seen Buffalo fans try to run that man out of town. But now we're seeing what Brian Daboll has done, especially with Allen, anyways, potential MVP candidate. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give Hurts too. I mean, even the broadcasters from this game were really seriously raving that he's going to get MVP considerations. Who would have thought that would be possible too? Like, no, it's just like we're seeing like some guys you never expect to have MVP consideration. No, Hurts. I mean, yes, be up there. I know there's going to be some fans kind of hate us, but hey, look, hate all you only want, but at least we're the better constructed team out of anybody.
Right.
Well, actually, second, because I can't count out the Buffalo Bills. So they're still, no matter who they bring in, they're going to still be good. So I mean, I ain't going to won't go there far yet.
Well,
but
should we talk about like who's coming up? Just because I want to know the two that you think we're going to lose. Obviously, you said the Giants, so we've got the Texans, the Commanders.
I think we're going to run them into the ground.
Totally. The Colts. Eagles can beat the Colts. Packers have not been having a good season. Oof. I mean, the Titans might be tough. I mean, Derrick Henry just beat Eddie George's record. That might be a tough game.
Yeah.
And then the Giants, I don't disagree with you. The Bears we're going to run over. Cowboys, a little tough maybe. Saints, I don't see a problem. Giants again.
I mean, we still own the Saints last. I do say I think we have an opportunity to sweep the Cowboys because I always remember we had issues playing in Dallas, but the fact that now we actually shown. Because I know the Cowboys fans like, oh, you beat up a backup quarterback. Bullshit. Like, Cooper Rush ain't that great. The dude has been overhyped. I mean, yes, he has his moments, but Dak's not even better anyways. I mean, we looked at his numbers. He's not statistically not playing like a good top 10 quarterback. And I'll admit it, too. The last few years, Dak Prescott, for me, is a top 10 quarterback statistically. Mm-hmm. But we're not seeing that. Now you're seeing a lot more pressure on CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, if he can stay healthy, because good Lord, because it's like there's certain guys like you don't want to have hurt. I mean, we saw Michael Gallup and how much that really affected the Cowboys not having. But then again, see now with Dallas too. If I'm Dallas, just give him more of the Pollard because Zeke's for me, he's now become a fullback at this point of his career. Because for me, with running backs nowadays, kind of losing their explosion. Like some of them turn into halfbacks or fullbacks. I think is what Zeke has done. And I think Zeke's actually had a pretty good year, though, despite not having that explosion he once was or what he once had. But the only issue with me with Dallas, though, is Mike McCarthy. That's my biggest concern because we've seen the track record. Yes, minus 2010 after that, good Lord, it's been nothing but negative. It's just like it's crazy enough. We're looking back at when we played that Dallas – I shared my buddy, me and Tyler talked about we showed the TikTok. You could have saw the pain on Jason Garrett's face. He had to go with his division rival. Like, who would have thought that would have been fucking
It pained him. You could tell it pained him when he had to say "Fly Eagles Fly" live on national TV during Sunday night. It pained him. I was laughing so hard when that happened.
Because he look, as a head coach, so he was. I would say wasn't great, but he was like a mid-tier, like it's like or Mr. Clapper is everybody, the entire world has called him. But I think he realized
all he had was just like a little smirk and a clap. That's all he had. That's all he had.
Looking just at the fact that, and just like how, and even with he said this too. I think he knew like who the better team was, and that was us because we were the better constructed team. Now, I mean, technically in the NFC, yes, but I mean, I think overall, I mean, you have to get that to Buffalo because Buffalo, for some reason, they just know how to find some really good pieces. I mean, the fact you added Von Miller, I think you also added Xavier Rose to take over from Micah Hyde. At that point, if I'm Micah Hyde with a consistent neck injury, could you really at that point consider retiring? At that point, if you're going to having consistent neck injuries, I mean, yes, I mean that's part of football, but knowing that Micah Hyde has a track record of neck injuries, it's not looking good. I mean, shit. I mean, I've seen team. Now that's a crazy part, though. I mean, it's just I think it's crazy enough that us and Buffalo could be the number one seeds in both the NFC and the AFC. Who would have? Now that would be interesting to see because I've been seeing a lot of people seen us and the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl.
I saw that a couple weeks ago.
If that really turns out,
if that happens, the fans are going to go absolutely crazy.
Oh, it is really going to be nuts. Look, because it's like at one point I want us to win another one, but on the other hand, I want to see Buffalo at least get one because for a team that lost 4 straight in the 90s, like I don't know exactly how you freaking like how much bad luck do you have to be to lose 4 straight in the 90s? But please, I want to see Josh Allen because, and I'll admit this too, I think Buffalo is better than us in terms of roster construction. Like I said, we're the second best in terms of roster construction, but you know. A lot of people don't remember that Sean McDermott was with us as a coordinator, which I'm surprised I even found that. I still remember that. A lot of people don't remember that.
Okay.
Didn't really work out well. Went to he also went to Buffalo. Really turned that team around. When I remember Buffalo was absolute god awful. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. That's really crazy for how much time it took to Buffalo to really turn it around and kind of rule the AFC East because Miami's good, but at times they're very incompetent, and for good reason. Because I put them on the grill a couple times. Because you're trying to kill Tua for the love of God. Like first of all, Tyler knows this too because me and a few other group of friends of mine, we were pissed at the Miami Dolphins on Thursday Night Football. Like, it's like I feel bad for.
When Tua got hurt, or when
he got knocked out cold against,
when he got knocked out cold.
Shouldn't he?
It's just
no, flat out.
That's the protocols needed to change, and they did. And I think there's more, more research needs to be done, and more needs to be looked into, and the league's looking into it. So that's good. But no, Tua. I even read one of the doctors who works with the league, I believe. I saw like a press release or something saying in general that like Tua shouldn't even be playing, like now shouldn't be playing. Like he was like son, he's like, you're like my son, like just stop.
Oh yeah, that's Chris Nowinski. A lot of
is that who it was? I forget.
A lot of wrestling fans actually. Yeah, if for those who are huge wrestling fans, people actually know who he turned from former professional wrestler to concussion expert because he's dealt with. Yeah, so I mean, a lot of people don't kind of remember actually where he came from, but he actually has expressed his, I would say, his concern and his displeasure for the Miami Dolphins because, and he actually set up on the second impact syndrome because he had thought about going for murder charges against Miami if and Tyler and me and Tyler kind of talked about that, because Miami, good Lord, I mean. And I thought Chicago was bad, but I mean, it's like Miami, though, man. If this kid retires in his prime of his career, we all know that the Miami Dolphins deserve a really ton of blame because of that.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think he's going to. I mean, these they're athletes. They're going to keep playing and playing and playing. I don't see him ritiring. But I've never met Tua. I don't know him, but. Yeah, I mean that's like their mentality, and they just keep pushing forward. It's that athlete mentality.
I mean, look, I like the mentality, but the fact that what we saw with the concussion protocol, and it's just It was like that's
I
like
mean, we all saw him fall the first game. And then they were like, "Oh, it's his back or his ankle or something."
that's not
Blah blah.
that's
There's that you
but
don't fall like that.
No, you
no,
don't.
you don't.
But then again, I mean, he passed concussion protocol, and that's what that was. And he went back on the field, and then the second game, obviously was knocked out cold, and that was really, really, really hard to watch.
It
And
really
this,
was.
Thank God
It's
everything
like
was okay.
yeah, and the thing is with the concussion protocol, they delve deeper into what it was. That holds the same merit as getting pulled over for a DUI and taking a drunk test. Because all it is just memorization. All right, what day is it? Obviously, they're gonna know what day it is. They're wearing their jersey. It's either a Sunday, a Monday, or a Thursday.
Right.
So they're obviously
You
gonna
have
know
a
about
chance of
that.
best of 3. No.
Like
Yeah,
they're either gonna know
didn't know
one of
that.
those 3 days,
Right.
and then what? And then like, what's your name? Obviously, they're gonna know their name. And then I forgot what the third thing was, but they're obviously gonna know that too. So they have to be better with this concussion protocol.
Right.
because I
And
mean,
And I
it
believe
all
that the person who approved him to go back on the field was fired. I do believe
yeah,
Yeah,
they
someone.
did fire
he
him
was.
because of that,
Mhm,
He was, yeah.
so,
and
yeah.
it's like, and it's crazy too. And I can talk about this too. Even Bill Belichick said that himself too. Like, if he's still gets concussion symptoms, I'm not letting them play until he's fully clear. And we're seeing coaches like that really take that in consideration because it's like how many?
Yeah.
How long has we've been calling for better changes for the concussion protocol? I mean, we've seen.
Years.
I mean, we saw it for like when Chris Olave got hit really hard, and it's sad. I mean, he has some of these really good talent. Who knows what the future is looking like?
Right. Well, you need your
It was,
brain. I mean, you need your brain.
mhm.
Like you
Yeah.
need to be able to function, and that's the main part of functioning is a brain. So yeah, if you get hit too many times, CTE is nothing to mess around with. And I
Yep.
like the fact that the league is dealing with the guardian caps. We've seen those appearances. We know they look crazy, but they apparently work. We saw those during training camp, and I think a little bit during preseason. I don't know what happened to them, but I like the idea of having them because I think it's safer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, man. It's just really crazy though. I don't know. Like it's crazy how I don't want to say it's crazy, but I mean, what I do want to see when the NFL changes is how they punish some players is inconsistent as hell. To really think about it, because you had Calvin already betting on games, already loses a 1-year suspension. I mean, if a guy like Josh Gordon
Mm-hmm.
with the marijuana thing, you get it's like the punishments is very inconsistent, which I want to see change into that because
Well, look at the whole Deshaun Watson thing too.
Yeah.
That's just a whole other issue.
I feel like that guy should be banned the whole year. To be honest, heck, I think he should be banned from the league.
A guy bets on a couple games and gets a whole year suspension. Yet there's women coming forward. How many there are now? 20 in their 20s, maybe even in the 30s. I'm not even sure anymore.
I think when it came out, I think when it came out it was like 40s.
Oh, was
like
it?
that.
Okay.
Well, technically,
Yeah,
actually, no. Wait a minute. It's over 60. Not that I mentioned.
Yeah, it was over 60. Yeah.
I mean,
but like 24, 25 came out and said some stuff. But at that point, I mean, as me and Tyler knew about Clemson fans, it hurts us because I mean,
go ahead.
It's just like, and we're seeing the Clemson like. It's like when we saw him playing in the championship game, I'm thinking to myself, like, this dude's going to succeed in the NFL. Now what we're seeing is like, you moron. Like it really angers me as a Clemson fan. Like, that ruins it. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's disgusting.
And I liked Deshaun Watson. I've listened to several of his pressers, and I like what he has to say. I don't know, but I don't see them like, not a monster that they're saying he is, but I mean, kind of. Like I didn't see that in the press conferences, but it's obviously these women. I'm not gonna go against what women are saying either. I'm a woman, so I'm gonna believe what women come out and say. So.
But it's just for me, like especially with the timing of it too. When we heard about this, it's like for me, from me who has took law major, criminal justice classes. For me, some of the ones that I've kind of seen, where we here's it's like that's like it's hard to really believe some of these women,
right?
But if you don't have like any physical evidence to back that up, I mean, at that point, if I'm Deshaun Watson, I'll definitely at least do a defamation suit at that point. But another thing that me and Tyler talked about is like who would see over 60 something like massage therapists you could just go to one. Like that, for me, that doesn't make any goddamn sense whatsoever to see over 60 plus massage therapists. Like, really? Because it's like that, and also kind of factors in. It's like, because I have a feeling, because I mean, we all know there's two sides of every story. It's not. It's like this. He said, she said. BS is kind of out the window. But I hopefully, if some of this true, if it is true, kick him out of the league. That's plain and simple. I mean, because it's like you wasted all this talent to really to fuck up off the field. You know what I mean? It's just like it's like I don't really. It's kind. I don't want to say go too far to as Antonio Brown, but that's a whole different.
Well, that's
entirety.
A whole other issue. Yeah,
that's a whole.
That's a whole different.
And it's a
and
shame
that might come from concussions, to be honest.
And especially that hit from Vontaze Burfict. I feel that hit from Vontaze Burfict kind of fucked him up mentally, because I mean, he really never. It's weird. Like he never had off the field issues till after that game where he got laid out cold. Which for me, actually, I liked Antonio Brown. I thought he was one of the.
He's a really good football player.
It's a shame that it's like. I wish. I mean, now we're like. I want to see the NFL kind of take it a step further and actually, because we've seen, unfortunately, former players who'd had CTE kind of just, you kind of really just not try to be like Junior Seau and just kind of just lose it. I would say, it's sad to really see some of these really good talented players starting to have mental issues. You know what I mean? It's like, but it's just AB though. It's just like AB is a different issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and also too, just to kind of go back even to like Pete Rose and MLB with him gambling and getting he still holds records to this day. The man's 81 years old, 82 years old, and he's not allowed in the Hall of Fame. Like it's a little crazy to me that like. But they come down hard on the gambling, even though they're gambling. The NFL has gambling partners now, so I'm super confused.
Like I feel like so many sports are just very hypocritical, but yet like now we have MLB's got some like sports partners. It's like I shake my head just looking at that. It's like really, so now you finally said something about it, or actually really promote sports betting. But you're not having
I'm watching the MLB playoffs. I'm seeing DraftKings commercial. I'm like, that's really hypocritical of you, MLB, to be sponsored by DraftKings, and you're against it.
It's just it just sends mixed messages to.
It really does. It's like but other than that, though, I mean, it's just like how this Eagles team like. God, if we say hypothetically we do win a Super Bowl with a squad, I'm gonna I'll be shocked because
here's the thing, Rob. Here's the thing.
Might.
Imagine if the Phillies win the World Series and then the Eagles win the Super Bowl all in the same year.
Yep.
Philly is not going to.
No. Philly's
not going to take it well.
Philly's going to burn down
because we talked about this. It's like, I mean, shit. I mean, you ever call it an adult toy company kind of to lube up the polls? It's like I get it. We're very passionate, but you really have to take it. I mean, sometimes that's where I feel like Philly sports at times where I dislike that we take it too far sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
Yeah,
and
we
did
do.
you see Did you see the little kid? Was it the
oh
Nationals
yeah,
playing the? It was the World Series. The Astros. The little kid.
uh,
He's 9, and he's yelling in
yeah, you
the
got.
He's like,
Astros fans'
yeah, his
face.
face.
It's just like
I mean,
I find it.
he's 9, but still, like someone taught him to do that. Like that doesn't. So yeah, Philly takes it a little bit too far sometimes. But I mean,
Nine
born and
times
bred,
out,
and I love
nine times out of 10, it was the dad that did it.
him. We
Had
all
to have
know
been the
that.
dad
Yes, yes. I mean,
But it's just
or the
like,
mom. I don't know. Like, could have been somebody.
the
I
women
mean,
are pretty
damn.
tough too.
Oh
So
my gosh, the women in Philly. Oh man.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, it's just Philly in general. I mean,
tough
for being a blue collar
Yeah.
town, yeah, you could see why. And it's
and
funny.
passionate.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of a locals Bears fan, Mr. Gooley himself, dude, I feel bad for your Bears. oh,
Oh, I feel
oh
bad for
God.
you, bud.
Oh my
Oh
God.
man.
God, it's just like this dude Gooley. For those who don't know, is all things Chicago with the Blackhawks, the Cubs, the Bears. But when it comes to the Bears, he just goes, oh God, his mental state is gone.
The
I
only
mean,
one that ever gives him sanity is the Bulls. Blackhawks give
yeah,
him nightmares. The Bears give him nightmares. It's just like it's bad for him. Oof.
like I mean,
Oh
Chicago.
no.
Like, yeah, I mean, it's just like Chicago Blackhawks. God, Flyers fans, we don't want to remember 2010. God, oh, it still bugs me.
Oh my gosh. How do
Still,
you blow
goddamn,
a 3-1 lead in the Stanley Cup final? How?
it's just like, look, and this is why it's a lot of times too. Like we said, we had the Union. If they win one,
Mhm.
good, holy crap, that would be because I wanted to, because we were close last year and we finally
Mhm.
beat the team that beat us. Was the NYCFC finally, which was well then the New England Revolution was kind of also a thorn in the side too in the playoffs the following year. It's just like we have Phillies in the World Series. We have a potential Super Bowl run with the Eagles. Now got the Union in the Cup Finals. Who knows with the Flyers? Well, still too early to tell until
Right.
we get to halfway.
76ers, but
Eesh.
yeah.
The Sixers have been up and down, but now
Yikes.
they're on the rise, kind of.
Right. That's why I said
But
something because they've been doing well.
Yeah.
I mean, on the 2-game winning streak, but
Gotta take it when you get it, right?
It's take it when you can get, but at that point, I am told some Sixers fans too. At this point, I mean, the Sixers are frustrated. Say, give me Larry Brown, old Larry Brown off the phone out of retirement. A lot of Sixers fans don't remember Larry Brown and how good that 2001 team was.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about that team. When we got to the finals, the entire team was banged up except for Iverson. Iverson was carrying the load. I'm like, oh my gosh.
It's just like now that we saw one of our franchise greats in DK Mutombo is actually kind of, I don't know if everybody's kept up on it. Had a brain tumor, which is shocking.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so he's getting treatment on that. So that's going to be crazy. But looking at, I know, as I said, Philadelphia at times, if they have more than one sport team can win multiple championships, that's the entire city. Like we said, it's going to be, you're going to have to get the military on the phone because that is going to.
Here's what you're going to need here for Philly sports. You're going to need the Army. You're going to need the Air Force. You're going to need the Navy. You're going to need the National Guard.
Marines,
the Marines,
like
the
everything.
cops.
Because it's like Philly is not ready for that.
No.
You know what I mean?
Can I just say, too, my liver has not been ready for the Phillies to be in the World Series and the Eagles to play a Sunday game and a Thursday game.
And me and Tyra talked about this too. I think before the playoffs, I had this team not making the playoffs.
No one did. Everybody's
Yeah.
shocked.
And the fact that we shocked the world is like, now we have 3 games at home. It's just like I said. I mean, Philadelphia is not ready for that kind of success. Not at times like it's going to be shocking.
We're about to get it, and it's well deserved. I mean, like
it's been far too long for the Phillies, anyways.
Yeah, Philly's a sports town. I mean, Philly loves their teams. I have traveled all over the U.S. and I mean, Philly's up there. I mean, whenever I'm in Philly, there's Eagles. The games aren't even on, but you see, green everywhere. You see red everywhere in the summer. Like the games, they're not even playing, but people are wearing all of their stuff. You know what I mean? So Chicago's another big sports city. New York, but no, I mean Philly's a huge sports town, and it shows. And Philly deserves this because people put so much passion into their sports.
And it's maybe that is true because I really looked at it because the fact that we have not made the postseason since 2011, not been to see the LCS in 2010, not been to the World Series 2009. So right now we're rewriting our history, rewriting our wrongs that we have suffered. Right. And it's, I mean, I even talked about this too. It's funny that in the wild card, we eliminated the exact same team, Poetic Justice, on their turf, like how they did ours 2011. Unfortunately, that's when most of our 2008, 2009 World Series team kind of crumbled. Howard tearing his Achilles had not been the same. Utley was getting up there in age, so was Chooch, Rollins. I think Worth was already gone by the time that already happened. It's like, it's been nuts. I mean, it's been nothing but pain and despair for 11 years. But then again, I even talk about this too. Seattle, how the Mariners fans had it worse than us. I thought we could have played a lot. 2 decades of not making the postseason. You had it.
And the Padres too. The Padres hadn't been in since 1998.
I think you still have Bruce Bochy at the time. We still had as a manager at that time before he went to the San Francisco. Yeah. But we got to give the Padres some credit though. I mean, they got some underrated players over their franchise history. I mean, probably the second best closer in baseball, and that's Trevor Hoffman. No one's going to outclass Mo Rivera. I'm sorry. You have to say otherwise because Mariano has better numbers. And sure, I mean, the all-time saves leader. It's crazy. It's like, it's funny now that Yankees are now kind of just experiencing our pain a little bit when it comes to not seeing the World Series. Like you have all the, and also take two. It's just like, and for us, it took just a managerial change. That's what it did for us. And they had to get a new voice in the locker room, according to what Dave Dombrowski has said. And also ties with the Eagles too. I mean, after Andy Reid, I mean, it's at times the Kansas City Chiefs. At times, it's hard to hate them because of Andy Reid. I still have a soft spot for Andy Reid.
We all do.
It's
and
just
he's a great head coach. I mean, Andy Reid is a great head coach.
At that point, I mean,
he did well with us too.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't enough to affect to the where should have 2 if we didn't fall short in 2004.
Right.
By a field goal. That still pains me.
Right.
Because we could at least have 2.
And if we could have managed to beat the Cardinals in 08, we could have been to a second and would have won probably. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and I would say this too, even the Cardinals too. How the hell does Larry Fitzgerald not have a goddamn ring? I'm sorry, like you're gonna have an all-time receiver. Kurt Warner's your quarterback, and it's just like it still doesn't make sense to me. But the way that
it's called NFL football is what it's called.
It's just like the Cardinals is just. I mean, we got some teams that are very unlucky at times. I mean, God, I can see. God, the Jets make the postseason. They have not done that since 2008, if I'm not mistaken.
2010.
God, 2010. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. I think the year after that was the year of the butt fumble by Mark Sanchez. And Eagles fans, don't remind me because good Lord, he was bad. Oh boy, him and Bradford.
Oh when he came here in 2014, I'm like, really? This is going to be your backup quarterback to Nick Foles? I knew. I had a funny feeling. That 2014 season, when Nick Foles went down, that season was going to be over. And it was over. So
it was. Yeah. I mean, it's – and looking at it, yesterday we had a carousel of quarterbacks. I mean, just minus what, T.O. and McNabb have beef outside of that because, I mean, McNabb over time, though, I mean, even though he was one of our better quarterbacks in franchise history, but I feel like he was more egotistical, and that's where I feel like – that's why I feel like, Rob, that T.O. was in the right and McNabb was in the wrong the entire time because McNabb had this huge ego. Because when we look at the face value, because that was, and it's crazy too. T.O. at almost pushing 50 and still freaking ripped.
He's playing fan football, fan control.
Yeah, he's doing that fan control thing.
Yep, in Atlanta.
It's shocking to see some of the Eagles' greats. Well, technically, I mean, T.O. has been with many different teams with San Francisco, Dallas, but it's still funny to see T.O. get his ass ran over in Dallas when he was with the Niners, but that's besides the point. But I think T.O. too. I mean, I really enjoyed T.O.'s time here in Philly because, I mean, you really think about it. For a guy that broke his leg, put up over 100 yards whatever. I don't know what numbers he put up, but on a broken leg,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and you tell me
Yeah,
that's not
he
Philly
is.
tough?
Right.
Like, damn. Like you have to convince me otherwise because I mean it's just like Philly. A lot of times people like say, and me and tired of this too. We're kind of tired. I mean, we're tired of this goddamn narrative. It's like we're like the worst. Have you seen the bigger market fan bases like Los Angeles? I know it's kind of obnoxious, you know, and I don't want to poke fun at them, but mostly the Lakers fan base are kind of goddamn obnoxious. But
Like as far as Dodger fans or
oh god,
Rams.
oh my god,
don't
Dodgers
even
and
get started about Dodger fans. Oh my god,
Dodgers and Padres, they can go at it for fucking days.
Like Padres weren't that bad actually. I was there. The Padres, the fans were fine, to be honest.
Honestly, I thought the Padres. Honestly, I thought the Padre fans were kind of fun, Rob.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with them at all. The Dodgers fans, I've had problems with in the past for sure. I live here.
It's funny enough because actually I'm very good friends with that are Dodgers fans, and they know how obnoxious they can be.
Oh, one of my best friends are Dodger fans. So, but yeah, I mean, they can. It's crazy. They hate Philly. They hate Philly. Like my best friends have been like, I hate your team, and I'm like, whatever. It is what it is. You know, you can't win. So.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, it is what it is. But it's funny enough, like the Dodgers can sit on the playoff couch with the Padres, the Yankees, the Cardinals. It's funny enough that it is shocking to the fact that we have seen 3 100-win teams get eliminated from the MLB postseason. Well, we knew about the Mets. I feel like I had a gut feeling the Mets were going to find a way to fuck it up somehow, and they did it. Like you spent all this money, and you win over 100 games, and you fail.
You lost the division by a game. A game.
And shit,
they fell fast too.
Yeah.
And we even poked fun about the Yankees for that. They were like what over 20 games, and we went down to 7 by the end of the year. So it's like, no goddamn way. Like, but Yankees fans though. But it's just
New York. It's New York. It's
But I will say this too. I think we're New York. Well, I mean, their basketball teams have not been the best to start this year. Good Lord. Well, I mean, more than that. Well. Yeah, I'll get the pass to the Knicks, but I think the Knicks have some talent over there. But Brooklyn, you can probably put them in the dumpster bin. But
you know what I gotta say about Brooklyn, Rob? Do you know what I gotta say about Brooklyn? They traded for Ben Simmons. Enough said.
Yeah, and we're seeing it. I mean, now Kyrie's kind of in some hot water, so that's besides the point. But looking at some of these bigger market teams, they like Philly, New York, Chicago, Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. Because and for me, it's funny because it's like, and we kind of poke fun of the Angels because they're Anaheim. They're not the they don't belong in LA. The only team that can runs.
It's so bad because the owner is the reason why the name change even happened.
I think. Wait, I think they're the Los Angeles. Hold on.
Angels of Anaheim, but I call them the Anaheim Angels because they don't believe they should belong in LA. Because the Dodgers, for me, I would say the Dodgers pretty much run LA when it comes to the baseball world.
Yeah,
it's funny to really look at that, but I mean, it's true. I mean,
yeah, it's the Los Angeles Angels now. It's not they play in Anaheim. They're not it's Los Angeles Angels.
I still call them the Anaheim Angels because and
everybody does because they play in Anaheim, so that makes sense.
I mean, it's like doesn't make sense. It's like I mean, you have to shit. I mean, Friday we got Between the Lines coming up, and we have talked about. Where the Angels stand. So it's like now at least all the teams that made the playoffs, we can laugh at the Angels because they're going to be holding the next postseason record drought in the baseball. But overall, though, in North American sports, that belongs to the Sacramento Kings. If you're a Kings fan, what the hell? Why are you still rooting for the damn team? That's where I will leave it at that.
16 years without the playoffs? Come on.
But, it's just like, the way that this, like, one final thing before we wrap it up here is that this Eagles team, though, even though they're 7-0, I don't think it's going to last long. I mean, yes, there's going to be some teams we're going to be able to beat with no problems.
Yeah.
Like I said, Dallas is going to give a bit of a push. Giants are going to give a bit of a push. Green Bay, I think we can definitely run into the ground. I'm not going to say
that. I wouldn't say that prior to like watching them play this season. You know what I mean? Like I would always be like, oh, Green Bay is going to be tough, but seeing what they're producing on the field, I think we can beat them right now.
But yeah, it's
I think
just
the Titans are going to be a little rough, like I said. Like Derek Henry
Titans
is
are.
a beast.
But if we do want, like, if we say we can give like just one loss, who's to say? If we find 16-1, that'd be shocking. Just to really say how much a year. But
I think 15. I think 15-2 is reasonable.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, I was 12-5 too with you. That's what I was saying.
I had 12-5 for 11-6, but the fact that they're at this point they're going to surpass that, it's like I was like, well, there goes that. And there was
I'm glad I'm wrong. I'm glad I'm wrong, or I'm glad to be wrong.
They're both us wrong.
Here's the thing. I had them going 10-7. They're going to surpass my prediction for sure, and I'm so glad they're going to surpass that because, oh my gosh, they've been playing lights out for 7 weeks. I'm happy about it.
It really is. It's like, we had this team just really show. At times, I mean, Philadelphia is resilient and how much you look at it. I mean, Eagles are pretty much just steamrolling through anybody. But like you said, I mean, when we play the Giants, the Cowboys, or the Titans, pretty much. I mean, we see because we definitely can steamroll through Green Bay because Green Bay showed to what the hell. I mean, it's just like and I understand. It's just like see. This is what happens when you chose Rodgers over Devontae Adams, and you see how much being a number one guy or the number one wideout is really hurting them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
absolutely. I think that was more of a Devontae Adams decision than it was.
Well, then
Rodgers,
again, yeah,
yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, actually, then again, yeah, but I think it should be a combination of both because the fact that. I think Devontae Adams is going to get was a big payday, probably a little bit less than Rodgers, and I think that's why I feel like I think that's why I think Devontae Adams left because I knew they're going to somehow lowball him, and that's why I think he went to Las Vegas. And this also you could put the same thing with how we got AJ Brown when we traded 2 draft picks for him because Tennessee was going to lowball him, and he did not like that, and now we're seeing it. Now we're seeing it. For us working out and we're seeing the wide receiver core absolutely just not great because we don't know the offense is the ones do Derrick Henry. And the Titans got to realize too, you can't rely on Derrick Henry for the next couple of years or so because that's when running backs start to break down. Fortunately, we saw that with Todd Gurley, unfortunately retiring super early, I would say. Just a shame. Just that arthritis in his knee kind of just derailed him. And I feel like Tennessee has to, at some point, have to realize that. I mean, it's just like, I'm excited to see what this team can do the next 5 going down the road.
Absolutely.
No, it's going to hurt that we're going to see Kelsey gone, Johnson gone, Graham, Fletcher Cox. But knowing that, I think Howie Roseman has really done a really good job, but we'll see. But right now, like I said, I mean, if we can go 15-2 so far this year, I feel like it's not going to.
I think as long as injuries don't happen, that's my biggest concern is people getting injured. And,
absolutely.
I think we can definitely go 15-2 as long as everyone.
Or 14-3. I can't complain if we go 14-3. I mean, it's just like, I mean, and that's like I said, but the injuries too to key players too. I mean, we saw it. You can't keep your key players getting hurt. Yes, I know we have death, but. At times death is not going to really help you as much. Even though if we do squeak by some games, though, I mean, which we have happened.
Arizona was not pretty. I was there. Trust me.
No,
was not pretty at all. But a win is a win.
Well, I mean, it is like if it's good or ugly, but I mean, I can't complain. But other than that, that's going to do it. For those who want to check her out, I have her Instagram link down below. Go follow her. I mean,
at Sport Report Deb, guys.
Absolutely. But Deb, man, it's appreciated to have you back on again.
Thank you.
Right now, we're right now past the halfway point of the 2022 season with the Eagles, though, and we're seeing not just for the Eagles, but any other teams that are pushing for the Super Bowl or the playoffs to be exactly first before we get to the Super Bowl. But other than that, though, like I said, that's going to do it. I mean, the Eagles, like I said, I mean, I'll talk more about that later on. I think they have a lot to. They really got to keep the foot on the gas pedal. No, I mean that's kind of where I would see.
And I don't see them letting it off. So, like I said,
yeah, you really shouldn't because you don't want to, especially crumble, especially with you have a couple division games down the road. mean, the fact that what are we 2-0 against the division at this point?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're 2-0 against the division. Yeah, it was like I think 3 or 4 division games coming up. You got to keep your foot on the gas pedal because we know that the division games are the hardest to play. And I mean, yes, we handled Dallas with no problems. I mean, we just really, the Commanders we took really had no issues taking care of them. So I mean, if I'm Sirianni and the rest of this coaching staff, kind of go looking at look at the Texans first, but then after that, looking at the upcoming weeks, knowing that you got Tennessee, you got Green Bay, and most of the remaining year games are division games.
Mm-hmm.
You got to keep it up. I would say that's all I got to add to that. Tyler, anything before we pop out of here?
Honestly, I have a highlight show coming up at 6:00 called the Pigskin Recap. Yep, the Pigskin. I almost forgot my own title of my own show. Dang. The Pigskin Recap. Live at 6:00 on the Hardcore Sports Network. Live on YouTube. It'll also be live on my Facebook page if you're a Facebook friend of mine. So check it out. Got a lot of if you want to know what your favorite team is doing, check it out. Hopefully the link is in the description, Rob.
Yeah.
But link is in the description. So
but I mean,
check it out at 6:00 Eastern time, and that's all I've got. And peace.
But Deb, any final thoughts for you to come out here?
I'm just excited for Philly sports right now. I just want to say go Phillies and go Eagles and go Union, and let's bring it all home.
Absolutely.
And, Phillies get that dub tonight. So
right.
Yeah, especially 3 home games. So you better take care of business.
3 home games, Phillies. Capitalize next week.
With that being said, we'll see you guys on the next one.